Welcome to Americana Obscura. Today, we witness the birth of a legend. In the height of the Cold War, America needed eyes where no human had ever dared to look. They didn't build a plane. They built a titanium ghost that challenged the laws of nature. Faster than a speeding bullet, higher than the reach of any missile. This is the State Route 71 Blackbird, the crown jewel of Lockheed's Skunk Works. A machine so advanced, it felt like it was stolen from the future. The 1960s. The Soviet Union had closed its skies with the deadly S-75 missile system. The U-2 spy plane was no longer safe. It was too slow, too vulnerable. The CIA issued an impossible challenge. Build a craft that could outrun anything in existence. Kelly Johnson, the legendary lead of Skunk Works, took the call. He knew that raw speed was the only way to survive. But to fly at Mach 3, every rule of aviation had to be broken. The project was codenamed Archangel. A vision of a jet that would become the predator of the skies. To survive the heat of 3 times the speed of sound, the plane couldn't be made of aluminum. It needed titanium, a metal the United States didn't have. The only major source of titanium in the world was their greatest enemy, the Soviet Union. Through a complex web of front companies and ghost corporations, the CIA bought the metal from Moscow. The Soviets unknowingly sold the very material that would be used to spy on them. Every inch of the Blackbird's skin was a masterpiece of espionage. It was an ironical twist of fate that defined the Cold War. The enemy's resources became America's ultimate shield. Deep in Burbank, California, the Skunk Works lab operated in total shadow. Engineers worked 12-hour shifts under strict security clearance. No one outside the room knew the shape of the aircraft they were building. Kelly Johnson's rules were simple. Small teams, no bureaucracy, total focus. They were weaponizing geometry before computers could even model it. The jagged edges and flat surfaces were the first attempts at radar deception. It was a temple of unconventional thinking. The lab became the birthplace of the stealth revolution. The State Route 71 didn't use normal jet fuel. It used JP7, fuel that wouldn't ignite at high heat. On the ground, the plane's panels were so loose they actually leaked fuel. It was designed to only fit together perfectly once it heated up at Mach 3. The plane literally grew several inches in flight due to thermal expansion. To start the engines, they used a chemical called plane. It was a temperamental dragon that required absolute precision. Every takeoff was a high-stakes gamble with physics. The Blackbird was alive, and it was hungry for the edge of space. At 85,000 feet, the sky turns black and the curve of the Earth becomes visible. The pilots wore full-pressure suits, identical to those worn by astronauts. Moving at 2,000 miles per hour, the air became as thick as water. The surface of the plane heated up to 600 degrees Fahrenheit. If the engines failed at this speed, the plane would disintegrate in seconds. It was the fastest air-breathing manned aircraft ever built. A missile could be fired at it, but the Blackbird's defense was simple: accelerate. It simply outran its problems. Speed was one thing, but invisibility was the new frontier. The State Route 71 was one of the first aircraft to use radar-absorbent materials. Its chine, the sharp edges along the fuselage, scattered radar waves away from the source. To a Soviet radar operator, the massive jet appeared no larger than a small bird. It was a masterclass in psychological warfare. They knew it was there, but they couldn't lock onto it. The Blackbird haunted the Soviet air defense system for decades. Geometry had become a weapon of silence. The State Route 71 wasn't just a racer, it was the ultimate camera. From 15 miles up, it could photograph a license plate on a car. It could survey 100,000 square miles of territory in a single hour. The intelligence it gathered reached the president's desk before the plane even landed. It saw secret missile silos, hidden submarine pens, and troop movements. There was nowhere to hide from the titanium ghost. It provided the clarity needed to prevent a nuclear world war. Knowledge was gathered at the speed of sound. Not just anyone could fly the Blackbird. It took a special breed of human. Pilots had to be married, stable, and capable of extreme isolation. They lived in a world of silence,
Clipper 19er,
listening
clear
only
to flight
the
level
hum of
350.
the engines and the radio. Every mission was a marathon of mental endurance. They saw the world in a way no other humans could. To them, the State Route 71 was a partner, not just a machine. They were the knights of the upper atmosphere. Their courage was the soul of the Skunk Works project. Flying at the edge of space, Blackbird pilots reported things they couldn't explain. Strange lights, erratic movements, and objects that seemed to toy with their speed. Were these secret Soviet tests, or something from beyond our world? At Mach 3, Even the most seasoned pilots were humbled by the mysteries of the void. The CIA kept these reports classified for decades. The Blackbird was often mistaken for a UFO by people on the ground. It became a part of the very Americana Obscura it sought to protect. The line between technology and myth began to blur. By the late 1980s, satellites were becoming the new eyes in the sky. The cost of maintaining the Blackbird fleet was astronomical. In 1990, the State Route 71 was officially retired. On its final flight, it flew from Los Angeles to Washington, D.C. in just 64 minutes. It set a record that has never been broken. A legend was being put to rest while it was still the fastest thing in the sky. The hangars at Skunk Works went quiet, but the lessons remained. You don't replace a Blackbird, you only succeed it. The State Route 71 taught the world that geometry could hide a mountain. It paved the way for the F-117
The J-58 engine was revolutionary, essentially a
Spirit.
turbojet that converted to a ramjet at high speeds.
The
That's how it
stealth
managed Mach 3.
revolution started in the mind of Kelly Johnson and his team. Today, every modern fighter jet carries the DNA of the Blackbird. It proved that the most lethal advantage is being invisible. The ghost planes of today owe their existence to the titanium ghost of yesterday. Innovation is born in the darkness of classified labs. The revolution was built on sharp angles and silent wings. Today, rumors of the State Route 72, the son of Blackbird, haunt the aviation world. A hypersonic successor that can reach Mach 6. The spirit of Skunk Works is still alive, pushing into the hypersonic frontier. We are still obsessed with the power of total disappearance. The Blackbird remains a symbol of American ingenuity and the pursuit of the impossible. It reminds us that there are always new horizons to break. The titanium ghost may be in a museum, but its shadow still patrols the edge of space. The legend of Dark Star never truly ends. Thank you for flying with Americana Obscura. If you love the history of the impossible, like and subscribe. The sky is not the limit, it's just the beginning.